Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have a bit of a different card design to share with you, so let's jump right in. So a friend of mine recently got married, and I really wanted to create something special for her, so I came up with this kind of layered wedding card, and I love it. I think that it turned out really great. It's one of those things, though, where I don't really know what I'm doing. And of course, Az had to come hang out with me. He's watching just to make sure that I know what I'm getting all the good layers in there. So he did kind of hang out on the desk for the first little bit. So I'm going to start with a Slimline card, which when scored is 3.5 by 8.5. So the cut area is 8.5 by 7, and then of course scored at the 3.5 mark. And this is just because I wanted that really tall look. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing. So this is kind of trial and error. And then I brought in an Alchemy of Art paper pad. This is the 12 by 12 paper. It's called Beautiful Moments. I've had it in my stash a little while. I don't know if you can still get it. I don't honestly know if you can get any of these exact papers, but really there's no wrong paper here. So I am sure that you can find something that you love that would work really great for this. So for my first layer, of course, as I said, is that 3.5 by 8.5. And I cut a piece of that paper down to be about 1/8 of an inch smaller than my base because I just worked directly on the card base. And then for my second layer, I cut a white piece. This is what was left over when I cut the card base, actually. And then I cut that down to be 3 by 8. And then I cut a piece of pattern paper to go on top of that, which was 1/8 of an inch smaller than that 3 by 8. So hopefully that kind of makes sense for my layers. That is one thing that I understand about creating kind of these like 3D cards. I follow a few phenomenal artists on Instagram that create really great 3D projects, and Stamperia and those companies also have phenomenal creators that create stuff. So I did, kind of seek inspiration from multiple places on where to do this. Also from the Alchemy of Art's Instagram page, they have a lot of phenomenal artists on their team as well. So there's no one specific artist I kind of sought inspiration for. I just kind of collected a whole bunch of different pieces that I was like, okay, this is, maybe I want some lace in the background, and I want layers, and I want dimension, and I want, all these different things. So I found inspiration in a lot of different places for this card. And some of it was just me, trying to go in a direction. So I have, like I said, the Beautiful Memories paper here that has a cut aparts, which is technically it has two. One's Christmas themed and one's wedding themed. And I've already cut apart all of the things. You can see it kind of sitting in that plastic bin just off to the right of me there. And so I pulled out, a few different things from that. The 3D flowers are from Stamperia. At least the large rose is. The little roses I had in my stash, I have no idea where those came from. I've had them for years. Because, every once in a while I'm like, I'm going to create a 3D project. And then I never do. So, I like to collect things. So I brought out a piece of lace from my stash here, and I adhered it across the card panel. And that's just going to be in the background. And then for all these cut aparts, like I said, some of them are from the Alchemy of Art Beautiful Moments, the wedding ones. Some of them are from Ciao, the Timeless Moments collection. And some of them are from Scrapboys, the Elizabeth collection, which is mostly all the leaves. I just pulled all sorts of random stuff out of my stash and built the way I wanted this to look, and then kind of just started layering from there. And then this is where the dimension starts to come in. So I kind of adhered the pieces I wanted in the background, and then I'm going to start building up from there. So these pieces don't make any sense together, but you're not going to see most of them. The whole idea is ultimately that you can see the flowers popping out around the items. And then I was kind of hoping to have the book underneath my couple. I ended up adhering it a little bit too high. Like this one element here, it has a teacup. Like it's flowers in a teacup, but you're not going to see the teacup, so that doesn't really matter. And then I start out with one layer of foam, so I adhered a bunch of stuff directly onto the background above that piece of lace. And then from there, I started with one layer of foam, and then I go to 2 layers of foam. And then when I get to the couple, I think that I did 3 layers of foam, to be honest with you. So hopefully I'm going to explain this somewhat well to you guys. The problem is that I ultimately have no idea what I'm doing. So I kind of am just, I have a wing and a prayer, and that's about all I have going on here because I wasn't sure, it's kind of really a trial and error. I pulled out a whole bunch of pieces and then I trialed them and I either like them or I don't like them, and I'd pull them out or put them back, or, it was just one of those things where I knew I wanted a row of flowers beneath the couple of those 3D flowers. I knew that. And then everything else is just kind of me trial and erroring pieces. And thankfully, I'm using the last of the Big Mama foam tape from Simon Says Stamp. I have that roll there. You can kind of see it. And it's pretty forgiving. Like you saw me, I've lifted that teacup like 3 times now because it wasn't quite in the right place because I want you to see the flowers, but I don't want you to really see the teacup. So I needed to tip it a bit more. And then to bring in a little more interest in texture, I actually brought in a piece of cheesecloth. That's what I'm using here. So I cut it. And then I'm kind of like tearing off strips of it so that you can get like kind of these stringy bits because it's just a fun texture. And then that's going to go behind my couple. You can't see most of it, but that doesn't really matter. Again, it's just a layer of texture. That's kind of what my aim was, dimension and texture, but pretty dimension and texture. So you can see I'm kind of like pulling strings out of the cheesecloth to make the edges a bit more tattered looking, I guess would be the right way to say that. And then I'm going to adhere it in a couple of places. And then of course, when I glue my couple down, they will actually sit on top of that cheesecloth and it will hold it even better than what that little bit of glue is going to do. But the whole idea is that I'm trying to create pieces that pop out around the couple that kind of create this really pretty floral look. And for whatever reason, the beautiful moments didn't come with any kind of foliage. And I feel like foliage is one of those things that really help something come together. Like I have so many florals here, but I don't have any foliage that matches it. So that's where I pulled all of those leaves from the Scrapboys Elizabeth cut aparts because there's a whole bunch of leaves in that collection. And yes, every single one of these is hand cut by me. I like cut aparts. I think they're a great way to get matching ephemera. And I like to sit on the couch. Like I'll sit on the couch in the evening with my husband after dinner and he'll play video games or we'll watch a show or whatever we're going to do. And I'll usually cut aparts. Like that's kind of what I like to do. So I tend to have these containers of these cut aparts that match my pattern papers. And then I can just, when I'm ready to sit down and create something, I can just bust out this container of cut aparts and find the ephemera pieces that I want to match whatever I'm working on. And I think it's a really great way to create. Of course, you have to enjoy fussy cutting a little bit. I find fussy cutting kind of calming, so I quite enjoy cutting things. That's not for everybody, of course, but I quite enjoy it. So that is something that I like to do. Just it's kind of like a relaxing thing in the evening with a cup of tea. I'll like fussy cut things. So that's where all those fussy cuts came from, and then those different collections. Now, all of those collections are older, so I am not sure I can link to any of them. I will link to the actual sites of the papers, so Alchemy of Art, Ciao Bella, and Scrapboys, but you might have to ask your local store if you have one, if they can get them, if you like them. I actually used the Timeless Moments Ciao Bella collection in a bullet journal. Not for May, but I think it was for April, and it's a beautiful collection. Like I really love it. And then the Elizabeth collection I actually used in a one sheet wonder Happy Mail that I made back in January, that was on the channel. So these pattern papers are stunning. I love them so much. And it was kind of fun to bust them out for something that wasn't necessarily related to what I had used them with in the past. So I also send away a lot of these ephemera bits because I find that you get quite a few, and I make 2 or 3 projects with them, and then I'm kind of like, what do I do with all these cut aparts? So then I'll stuff them into Happy Mail and send them out to other people, which I think is pretty fun. So for just a little bit of more added dimension, I did pop up my panel on a little bit more of that Big Mama foam tape and then adhered it down. And then I'm going to kind of start tucking the leaves and adding that little bit of something extra here. So first I started off with a butterfly, and I kind of adhered it in the lady's hair. I kind of thought that it would be like a hair embellishment, like a hair clip or something. I just thought it was cute. I don't know. Don't ask me. I love butterflies. Any excuse to put one somewhere and I'm going to do it. But I put that in her hair, kind of thinking it would be like a hair accessory. And then now I'm just going to take these leaves and tuck them in behind, excuse my head there. I'm going to tuck them in behind different areas of the card. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It's just honestly where I think it looks good or needs a little bit of filling out, because this helps break up all the pink, because obviously this is a very, very pink card, which is intentional. But the leaves help break that up. And the leaves are actually kind of a more cool palette, which I thought kind of was fun, just because they're leaves. Like, you can't go wrong with leaves, in my opinion, and I don't have to worry about the dimension or anything with this because I'm going to create a box to go in. You're not going to see that in this video. I made the box later. I have a short of making the box though, so you will see it show up on the channel at some point. But I made it a box, so I didn't have to worry about, where everything needed to go or how much was sticking out around the card. None of that mattered because I knew that I was going to create something to go in, and it wasn't going to be an envelope. This isn't flat. And I'm hand delivering this to a friend of mine who lives here. She has it now, obviously. Like, at this point, she's had it for a little bit, but I didn't have to worry about how much dimension, how much was sticking out, anything like that, because that's up to me because I'm going to make it something to go in. So I really wasn't concerned. And then because it's me and I could not resist, I did bring in these really pretty gems. These are from Spellbinders. They are the Crystal Mix Adhesive gems, and they have kind of an opal-y one, and then they have these iridescent-y gems, and I just love them. I bust them out in projects pretty often. And you're going to see me put some of them down. Excuse my head again. You're going to see me put some of them down. And I do actually go and move them. So you might see me put one place and then I'll move it to a different place. I don't know. I was just having fun. And there was no rhyme or reason for this. Like, some of them went in the center of flowers. One gem went on her ring finger to look like she had a diamond on. A couple of them went in the center of the butterfly on the hairpiece, that kind of stuff. Like, I put them all over the place because I was just having a blast. So I'm going to show you this card up close and in person. I am so excited. Not in person. Sorry, you can't see it in person. I don't have it. Can't show it to you. She's got it. But I'm going to show it to you as up close and personal as I can in the video, which I'm doing here. So hopefully you get the idea of just how much dimension and how much, texture is going on here. Like, I love this card. I had so much fun making it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell me, do you have any tips for creating cards like this? I'd love to know. And I did take a strip of that pattern paper from the top layer and I put it inside of the card as well. So I love how this turned out. So I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. But that is the card I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and most of them are card related. So that's pretty fun. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.